Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the Demon Blade breathing tier list, where we're going to rank every breathing technique in the game, from the best to the absolute worst. If you're wondering which breathing styles give you the best combat advantage, we've got you covered. We'll talk about each style's strengths, their unique moves, and why some just absolutely dominate in battle, while others, well, not so much. Whether you're a seasoned player or just starting out, this guide will help you figure out which breathing style is your go-to for making the most out of every fight. But hey, don't worry, we're not just giving you a boring list here. We're going to break down each breathing technique in detail, highlighting the moves and skills you'll unlock as you progress. From the flashy, powerful techniques to the ones that might need a bit more practice to truly shine, we've got it all. Stick around as we rank each style, giving you all the info you need to choose your perfect breathing and become a true master in Demon Blade. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking breathings in Demon Blade. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The breathings in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, thunder breathing. Alright, let's talk thunder breathing in Demon Blade. Now, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it definitely lands in the C tier, and here's why. It offers some pretty cool perks, but long term, you might want to start looking for a better option if you're aiming for consistent power. Still, it's far from being the worst breathing style, and it can do some serious damage if you use it right. The active skills for thunder breathing are where things get interesting. You've got Flash, a quick dash move that lets you zip in the direction of your cursor, slashing enemies along the way. It's great for closing gaps, but with a 6-second cooldown, it can leave you a little exposed if you're not careful. Then there's Flash X6, which lets you take off in a small scale AoE that hits the ground, dealing some solid damage. But at 25 stamina, it's not exactly something you can spam all day long. Finally, we have Thunderstorm and Thunder Flight. Now, Thunderstorm is a pretty satisfying skill, sending thunderbolts flying from your cursor, hitting multiple enemies, but with a 22-second cooldown and 55 stamina, you won't be popping that off every fight. And then there's Thunder Flight, where you literally turn into a thunderbolt, zipping around with boosted speed. It's fun to use for mobility, but again, no obstacles allowed, so you'll need open space to make the most of it. All in all, thunder breathing can be a fun choice if you're looking for something flashy, but it's not gonna hold up in the long run. The breathings in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Water Breathing 1, Love Breathing, and Flower Breathing. Alright, let's dive into the world of breathing styles in Demon Blade. But not just any breathing styles, we're talking about the B tier ones. These are the breathing styles that might not be at the top of the leaderboard, but don't let that fool you. They've got their own little quirks and can really help you out, especially if you're just getting started. First up, let's talk about water breathing. Now, I know what you're thinking, water's calm and all, but don't be fooled. This style has some solid moves. Surface Slash is a basic 2-stage slash with a little displacement, perfect for those quick attacks when you're on the move. But the real fun begins with Water Wheel. You'll transform into a spinning water wheel, knocking enemies in your path while you glide around. The longer you keep it going, the more damage you dish out. 7 seconds of chaos. Then there's Water Flow, where you'll slide around at crazy speeds, and Water Walk, letting you glide across the battlefield like you're skating on water. It's all about that fluid movement, making it a pretty smooth option for beginners. Next, we've got Love Breathing, and I'm not just talking about the warm, fuzzy feelings. This one's got some punch. The move. First Love shoots a heart that will explode on the contact, stunning enemies for a solid 1.5 seconds. It's a cute attack, but it does the job, especially if you're trying to keep enemies in place. Wavering Romance is all about the dash. It's fast, it's flirty, and it hits multiple enemies. But my personal favorite is Rains of Love. You fire a heart straight up, and once it explodes, it starts raining attacks down in a cone shape, locking onto enemies. It's like a love shower with a side of pain, and that stun effect? Oh yeah, it'll definitely mess with your opponent's timing. Now let's look at Flower Breathing. This one's all about summoning beautiful chaos. Crimson Hanagoromo summons flower fairies that will damage anyone who gets too close. But the real kicker here is the blood-sucking power. Yeah, you heard that right. You'll be healing while you hurt. Then there's Honorable Shadow Plum, which summons thorn bushes to trap and damage enemies. It's a great control move, keeping foes stuck in place while you deal damage over time. And then, things get a bit wild with Peonies of Futility. Lock onto enemies and unleash phantom attacks that just keep coming. It's a whole vibe. One of the cooler aspects of Flower Breathing is its equinoctial vermilion eye. This one's a bit of a two-stage power-up. First, you become invincible for 10 seconds. Yeah, you read that right, you're basically untouchable. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because once you close the eye, your movement speed drops for a bit. Still, it can be a total game changer in tight situations, and if you've got a buddy using insect breathing, you can even share the invincibility effect for a short time. Lastly, let's not forget flower flight. Who doesn't want to turn into a pink butterfly and float around the battlefield? It's not just for show though, this transformation boosts your movement speed, allowing you to zip around while you stay untouchable. It's fun, it's flashy, and it's a great way to escape danger or reposition yourself for the next attack. So there you have it. B-tier breathing styles in Demon Blade may not always be the strongest, but they sure have their moments. If you're looking for a fun mix of mobility, damage, and a touch of strategy, these styles are definitely worth trying out. Keep mastering them, and who knows, you might just surprise your opponents with your stylish moves. The breathings in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: wind breathing, water breathing 2, beast breathing, and serpent breathing. Alright, so let's dive into some of the breathing styles in Demon Blade. Now we're talking about the A tier breathing styles, and let me tell you, these are definitely worth your time. They might not be the top tier S class, but don't be fooled. These bad boys pack a punch and can absolutely hold their own in battle. First up, we've got wind breathing. While it might not have the same flashy impact as some of the top breathing styles, it's no slouch in terms of versatility. Talon's Wind lets you unleash 4 wind blades in the direction you point, which is perfect for hitting multiple enemies. And then there's Tornado, which is just as fun as it sounds. Sprint forward and leave behind a horizontal tornado that will shred anything caught in its path. For some real power, check out Buddha Wind. This one releases a huge AoE damage around you, dealing continuous damage in all directions. But wait, there's more. The Tornado Flight ability gives you a sweet boost to your movement speed. It's a perfect escape mechanism when you need to get out of dodge, or if you're just looking to zoom around the map like a wind-powered blur. All in all, wind breathing's a fantastic choice when you want a mix of speed, control, and damage. Next up is water breathing 2. If you're into flow and control, this one's a great pick. The water spout skill is awesome for knocking enemies around, and you've got the choice to either tap or hold to extend the effects. It's a great crowd control move that can throw off the enemy's positioning. Then we've got Waterfall, where you'll jump up and slash down to summon a massive cascade. It's as dramatic as it sounds and will leave enemies drenched in regret. Water Dragon brings some heavy splash damage into the mix. The huge Water Dragon slams the enemies in its path with a big explosion, perfect for zoning out or just wrecking a bunch of enemies in one go. But if you're looking to freeze the battlefield, Frozen Water is what you want. It controls everything in a large radius around you for a few seconds before unleashing a devastating combo of slashes and explosions. Water Walk 2, on the other hand, turns you into a water dragon that can fly. It's one of those, look at me, I'm the water dragon now, kind of moments. Switching gears a bit, let's talk about beast breathing. This style is all about raw power and quick strikes. The Fang Cross slash is perfect for dealing with anything in your path, swinging your sword and cutting through multiple enemies. Then there's Extending Slash, where you swing left and right, knocking back enemies while dealing damage. Throwing Strike is pretty unique, allowing you to throw knives at your enemies. You can hold the ability for up to 2 seconds, making it fly faster and further as you level it up. And if you're looking for a real game changer, Beast Bite and Beast Rush are the skills to watch. Beast Bite has you sprinting forward, locking onto enemies, and unleashing continuous damage. Beast Rush, though, is an intense ability where you charge at enemies, knocking them out of your way. It's fast, it's furious, and it's a fantastic way to pressure your opponents. Last but definitely not least, we've got Serpent Breathing. Now, this one is all about poison, sneak attacks, and sucking life out of your enemies. Venom Fangs sends 5 venomous snakes slithering forward, poisoning anyone they hit. The best part? That poison effect lasts for 5 seconds, stacking for serious damage over time. Slithering Serpent lets you go full ninja mode, bouncing between you and your target with a quick, life-stealing attack. Kaburamaru is an absolute beast of a move. It summons a snake that shoots a beam of light, causing sustained damage to any enemy caught in its path. And if you really want to go all in, Serpent God Transform turns you into a flying serpent god, boosting your skills and abilities even further. It's the ultimate power-up for this style, turning you into an unstoppable force of nature. So there you have it, wind, water, beast, and serpent breathing. All amazing choices that can totally change the tide of battle. None of them might be S tier, but they were all top tier in their own right, and trust me, you'll want to have one of these in your arsenal. Whether you're controlling the battlefield with water or rushing in like a beast, these styles have got something for every type of player. Keep them in mind next time you're gearing up for battle. The breathings in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: flame breathing, mist breathing, rock breathing, and moon breathing. Alright, let's dive right into the juicy stuff. Breathing styles in Demon Blade, you know, the kind of powers that make you feel unstoppable as you tear through enemies. If you're ready to take your gameplay to the next level, then buckle up, because I'm about to walk you through the S tier breathing styles that will have you dominating both PvP and grinding sessions like a true pro. First up, we've got flame breathing. Seriously, who doesn't want to wield the power of fire, right? It's got some of the most satisfying moves in the game, starting with Flame Slash. You're unleashing 2 fast upward slashes with a fiery burst that makes everything around you feel like it's in an action movie. And that's just the beginning. Flame Whirl is where the real fun starts. You become the center of a fire explosion vortex while jumping to crazy heights. Who doesn't love some style with their damage? Then there's Fire Tiger, which sends a massive flaming tiger charging at your enemies, leaving behind a trail of flame. It's a powerful move that just screams epic. And don't get me started on Flame Hell, where you summon a giant flaming sword and swing it with fury. Charge it up for even more damage, and trust me, you'll feel like the king of fire. Finally, Flame Flight lets you zip around the map at insane speeds with flames enveloping you. Who needs walking when you can fly? Next on the list, we've got Mist Breathing. It's all about stealth and speed with this one. Sea of Mists is your go-to move for dodging and getting in some serious evasive maneuvers. You get a 30% dodge boost, and your movement speed is through the roof. Need to disappear for a bit? Obscure turns you invisible and leaves behind a fake afterimage to mess with your opponents. It's honestly the perfect move if you're trying to play tricks on your enemies. And if you love high-speed action, Hanging Sky and 8 Mists will have you sending multiple thrust beams and sword energies across the battlefield while dodging damage with invincibility frames. It's a slippery, elusive playstyle that makes you feel like a ghost. Rock Breathing might not get as much love as Flame or Mist, but it has its own heavy-hitting charm. Serpentinite brings the boom with explosive ground hits that knock enemies up into the air. It's a great opener for a combo. Then there's Rock Shock, which lets you fire rocks straight at your enemies with impressive knockback. Rhytulite takes things up a notch, letting you grab and swing targets around like a true Earthbender. You can even hold the swing for more damage and range. And when you really need to control the battlefield, Earthquake causes a massive explosion that damages and controls everything in its radius. As for movement, Rockflight lets you soar across the battlefield with style while dealing damage to anyone who dares to get in your way. It's slow, but it packs a punch. Lastly, we've got Moon Breathing. If you want something that feels mystical and powerful, this is your go-to style. You've got to manage your moonlight energy to get the full effect, which adds an extra layer of strategy. When you transform into Full Moon, you gain a huge boost to your movement speed, attack damage, and range. But you'll also be slower and have lower attack speed, so it's all about finding that balance. Dark Moon, Night Palace is a great way to deal damage with Moonblades in Full Moon mode, while Lonely Moon, Incessant lets you control enemies with large moonblades that follow your every move. Want to hit multiple enemies in one go? Mirror of Misfortune. Moonlit sends out shockwaves in a circular range, and in Full Moon, the range is even bigger. And when you're looking for some major sustain, Moonbow Rain will have you healing as you deal damage. Perfect for staying alive in those tough PvP fights. Finally, Moonlight Flight is just the cherry on top, giving you invincibility and constant health regeneration while you fly across the map like a moon goddess. Each of these S-tier breathing styles brings something unique to the table, and they're definitely worth mastering. Whether you're burning your enemies to a crisp with flame breathing, outsmarting them with mist breathing, smashing them with rock breathing, or flying through the sky with moon breathing, there's a playstyle for every type of player in Demon Blade. So which one are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you're already using one of these S-tier breathing styles, what's your favorite skill? Can't wait to hear what you think. Keep your blades sharp and your skills sharper. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.